Hello everyone, this is Darko 2012 with Global Government News, and I'm reading a propaganda piece that was posted by the AP on January 6th. Just as the entire planet is almost the entire planet is being hit by just brutal cold temperatures, and of course they got to put out some disinformation, however you want to put it. Like I said in a recent video, it's very hard to predict weather patterns. Even the Farmer's Almanac who is 80% accurate in their weather predictions. They even admit that it's hard to really factor everything in. But I'm going to get to the Farmer's Almanac part here. And show you what I believe really drives overall temperature. But here we go. Experts. Cold snap doesn't disprove global warming. Beijing had its coldest morning in almost 40 years and its biggest snowfall in 1951. Britain is suffering through its longest cold snap since 1981, and freezing weather is gripping the deep south, including Florida's orange groves and beaches. Whatever happened to global warming? Such weather doesn't seem to fit with warnings from scientists that the Earth is warming because of greenhouse gases. But experts say the cold snap doesn't disprove global warming at all. It's just a blip in the long-term heating trend. It's part of a natural variability, said Gerald Meehl, a senior scientist at the National Center for Atmospheric Research in Boulder, Colorado. And I'm sure he's in that position because he is pro-global warming, right? With global warming, he said, we still have record cold temperatures. We'll just have fewer of them. Deke Arndt of the National Climatic Data Center in Asheville, North Carolina, noted that 2009 will rank among the 10 warmest years for Earth since 1880. Scientists say man-made climate change does have the potential to cause more frequent and more severe weather extremes, such as heat waves, storms, floods, droughts, and even cold spells. I'm being sarcastic here when I'm reading this, but experts interviewed by the AP did not connect the current frigid blast to climate change. So what's going on? We basically have we've seen just a big outbreak of Arctic air over populated areas of the northern hemisphere, Arndt said. The Arctic air has really turned itself loose on us. In the atmosphere, large rivers of air travel roughly west to east. Around the globe, between the Arctic and the tropics, the airflow acts like a fence to keep the Arctic air confined. But recently, this airflow has become bent into a pronounced zigzag pattern, meandering north and south. If you live in a place where it brings air up from the south, you get warm weather. In fact, record highs were reported this week in Washington State and Alaska. But in the eastern United States, like the other unlucky parts of the globe, Arctic air is swooping down from the north. And that's how you get the temperature of 3 degrees in Beijing, a reading of minus 42 in mainland Norway, and 18 inches of snow in parts of Britain, where a cooling trend was jeered by colleagues. The zigzag pattern arises naturally from time to time, but this is not clear why it's so strong right now, said Michelle Lahore, a meteorologist at the Climate Prediction Center of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. The center says the pattern should begin to weaken in a week or two. Jeff Masters, a director of meteorology for Weather Underground Forecasting Service, says he expects more typical weather across North America earlier next week. That will be welcome news in the South, where farmers have been trying to salvage millions of dollars worth of strawberries and other crops. On Miami Beach, tourists bundled up in the wool. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but I'm going to move to this other part here. And if we look at the Farmer's Almanac here, they have this little thing above here, so I'll just highlight that so I can read it. It says, how do we predict the weather? It says, we derive our weather forecast from a secret formula that was devised by the founder of the almanac, Robert Thomas, in 1792. Thomas believed that weather on the Earth was influenced by sunspots, which are magnetic storms on the surface of the sun. Notes about that formula are locked in a black box in our offices in Dublin, New Hampshire. Yes, that's a photo of unassuming black box below. It says, over the years we have refined and enhanced that formula with state-of-the-art technology and modern scientific calculations. We employ 3 scientific disciplines to make long-range predictions. We're referring to, of course, if you haven't noticed yet, the Farmer's Almanac who they claim that they're 80% accurate. We employ our three scientific disciplines to make long-range predictions: solar science, the study of sunspots and other solar activity; climatology, the study of prevailing weather patterns; and meteorology, the study of the atmosphere. We predict weather trends and events by comparing solar patterns and historical weather conditions with current solar activity. It says that our forecasts emphasize temperature and precipitation deviations from averages. And it says we believe that, I'm not going to go into that. Actually, here we go. It says, where does it say here? We're very close to our traditional claim of 80%. And there's actually another article here. And just doing a Google search, I found this article that was posted September 1st, 2009. Farmer's Almanac predicts tough winter ahead. Hey, go figure, right? Go figure. Americans, you might want to check on their sweaters and shovels. The Farmer's Almanac is predicting a cold winter for many of you. The Venerable Almanac's 2010 edition, which goes on sale Tuesday, says numbing cold will predominate in the country's midsection, from the Rocky Mountains in the west to the Appalachians in the east. For most of the Minnesota and Wisconsin, the almanac predicts bitterly cold and dry weather. In the Dakotas and Red River Valley region of Minnesota, very cold and snowy weather is expected. He said the managing editor, Sandy Duncan, says it's going to be an ice-cold sandwich. We feel the middle part of the country is really going to be cold, very, very cold, very frigid, with a lot of snow, she said. On the east and west coasts, it's going to be a little milder. Not to say it's going to be a mild, short winter, but it's going to be mild compared to the middle of the country. And so that, like I said, that was in September. And for any of the people out here that are listening or watching this who don't understand how the sun affects the earth, I'm not like trying to talk down or anything, but I'm just going to read this because it's pretty interesting stuff. It says solar activity's effect on the earth. This all begs the question, what is the long-term effect of solar activity on our life on earth? And it says here, conversely, times of increased solar activity have corresponded with global warming. During the 12th and 13th century, the sun was active and the European climate was quite mild. A quiet sun usually means weak solar winds, which may allow more galactic cosmic rays into the inner solar system. This poses health risk for astronauts, whatever. Low solar radiance or the diminished brightness of the sun can lead to a dramatic decrease in UV wavelengths. And, reading up here, I just read earlier today that November was actually mild, quite mild. December was brutal, and January will be too, but November was a little bit warmer. And then I noticed this while making this video, and it said in late October 2009, the sun showed a rare burst of activity. Sunspot 1029 unleashed multiple solar flares. So, yeah, here we go. Of course, even a below average sunspot count does not preclude a large solar flare, which could cause billions of dollars in damage. But I think most of you get the point here of what I'm trying to prove. Basically, when I see propaganda pieces like that, I have to make sure that I upload them and I title them as propaganda, because that's exactly what they are. And until people start doing their own research and finding out, at least the other points of view on climate change, they're just going to read crap like this on Yahoo. Experts, cold snap doesn't disprove global warming, and they'll believe it, right? So, actually, I hope that they're not. Hopefully, they're becoming more skeptical, but we'll see. Thanks for checking this out, and leave your comments.